Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this wonderful workshop. Before we start, I would like to thank Prof. Jihan for this wonderful opportunity to share my humble knowledge with you on this wonderful topic of how to select a research topic. So I'm Dr. Haider Shah. I'm the associate professor at Abdullah Gül University, Turkey. And today we have this wonderful workshop on how to select a research topic with the help of the AI with a focus on how to align your SDGs. So let me share the slides with you. So today we will discuss this how to select a research topic with the help of AI with a focus on SDGs. So now the most important thing which I would like to mention first of all that I have divided the presentation into three main categories. First, we need to understand the prerequisites for selecting a research topic. What are the things we need to consider that how we are going to select a research topic, but before that, what kind of preparation we need as a researcher, as a beginner researcher, as the intellectual skills required for the conducting research. First, we will talk about the prerequisites. Then we will try to understand that how can we select any research topic, what are the different strategies we can apply, how can we refine any topic in order to get the a proper research topic. And then last but not the least, we will have the practical demonstration on some software as well, that how can these software actually help us to refine the our topic, which is very much important nowadays. So now we will talk about this one, but let me share the outline for this presentation. The first thing is we will start from what is the thinking. So by that we mean that what kind of thinking is required to select a research topic, and how can we understand that on which stage we are at thinking level. How do educators they see the stages of the thinking, and how can we improve our thinking in order to develop our intellectual skills. Then we will talk about the intellectual skills required for an effective researcher. What kind of the skills required for the researcher in order to carry on the research work. Then we will try to understand what is the difference between the topic and title. Most of the time, the beginner, they are not that clear about the topic and title. So we will discuss what is the topic, title, and working title. And then we will also discuss what are the broad topics, what are the narrow topics, and how can we have the best, which is not too broad, not too narrow one. And then we will be talking about what is the right flow from topic to research question, because we have to refine our research question, because we need to refine it in order to have appropriate research to carry out. And then we will also discuss what are the good and bad research topics, what characteristics, what attributes make the research topic as good or considered bad. Then we will also talk about how to generate topic idea and what are the different activities or strategies to select it. What are the different filters we have to go through in order to refine our idea. And then we will also talk about how we are going to come up with the good research problem. I think that's very important for us to understand that one. All right, so let's move towards what is the first thing we need to understand. Why choosing the right topic matters. Nowadays, the researcher, they commonly face the issues of the too broad and too narrow topics. What happens mostly that we come up with the idea which is very good, but it is too generalized one. And sometimes we come up with the idea which is too narrow. For example, we are just targeting the one city. Like for example, we are trying to understand the football match between the two states in USA, California and Florida. So that is now too narrow topic, but too broad will be football match or football championship in America. Now, again, both of them are not the appropriate one. So we will discuss in the coming slide how can we have the good one, the best fit and best match for both of them. That it is not too narrow and at the same time it is not too broad topic. Second, the common thing which the researcher they usually struggle is the lack of novelty. Sometimes their work is not novel. By novel means what contribution you are bringing, what new things you are presenting to the world, what contribution you are bringing in terms of which contribution, methodological contribution, the knowledge gap or the unit gap, what kind of novelty your topic is going to bring, the new framework you are supposing. All those things are the important things for the topic selection. For that, you must know how to use the different AI tools to come up with the basic or preliminary literature review in order to get the clarity or related to the novelty. And then we talk about the misalignment with the global priorities. Nowadays, our priority is what it is related to the sustainable development goals. That is the 17 goals. We must try to align to those 17 goals, are two of them, three of them, or maybe one of them. We need to target it. Why? Because the way world is moving, what are the different trends we need to consider, and we need to align our research work with them. So then, if we align our work with them, what are the different benefits associated with it? Here, the strong topic increases what? First is the your publication chances. You can publish your work in a very good journal, top tier 1, 2, 3 journals, if your topic is attractive and if it has the novelty, it is a perfect match between the broad and narrow one, and it is aligned to the global priorities, particularly the sustainable development goals. It must be aligned with any of that goal. So first thing is the publication chances. Your publication chances becomes higher with the strong topic. Second important thing is the funding opportunity. Funding institution, funding agencies, they look upon the topic as from the perspective of global priorities. Is it the global priority? Is the problem needs sufficient amount of investigation? Should we explore it? Should we fund it? Any of that topic which is relevant, which is in the trend, and which is along with the alignment of the global priorities. So it means that if it is in the global priority, definitely your chances for funding opportunities will increase. Last but not the least, the societal impact itself is very important one. By what do we mean by the societal impact? How you are going to translate your research work into practical implication, what you are going to offer to the industry, what you are going to offer to the society, how your research work is going to shape the society in a good way. For example, if your work is related to sustainability, so what practices you are going to investigate, how it is related to the global priority. For example, the climate change, it is in the global priorities, it is in the United Nations, it is in the SDGs goal. But how you are going to translate it, if your topic is relevant, if your topic is good, if your topic is contained in novelty, definitely the impact will be translated at societal level. Then we say that there are some strong topic versus vague topic. So what is vague topic? We say that technology role in improving urban city life. That is very much the broad one. We are not getting what we are trying to say. But the strong topic is what? Exploring how AI powered supply chain solution can improve last mile delivery efficiency in urban centers. Now SDG 9 has been targeted, which is industry innovation and infrastructure. Now, this is the overall understanding of the Sustainable Development Goals framework, in which, as you people can see, it starts with the no poverty, zero hunger, to the 17th one, partnerships for the goals. So now you can target couple of SDGs or you can target one even along with one topic. So it depends on your topic, it depends on your work which you are trying to carry out. Now, if I talk about myself, uh, what I usually target in my research is the SDG 4, which is related to quality education, the Sustainable Development Goal 8, which is decent work and economic growth, the 11, which is sustainable cities and communities, the 12, responsible consumption and production, the 13, climate action. So my research topic, my research area is revolving around these SDGs 4 to 13, and I usually work on that. So this is how you actually define yourself, that how you can align your work and which SDGs you are currently serving. So then we say why SDG alignment matters. As we just discussed earlier, as a researcher, as a beginner researcher, what are the different benefits for you? First, the funding agencies' priorities. They give you priority to your topic if it is new, as we just talked about the novelty, and if your topic is related to one of or two of the or three of the SDGs. So if it is related to it, you are going to get funding for your topic. Second important thing is the as a researcher you get higher citation. It means that your work will be read in the different countries, in a different places. People are going to, our researcher are going to read your work, and definitely they are going to cite your work for different claims for making their argument. So they will cite your paper. Along with that, you have the more opportunities for collaboration. So you can have a wonderful collaboration since you will be working on the topic which is aligned with SDGs. So definitely there are certain other researchers who are working on the same SDGs. So you can extend the invitation to work together on a same topic, and I believe that would be a great start to have the wonderful collaboration on the same topic, because through collaboration we learn a lot, we exchange the knowledge, activities, and we definitely grow out of it. Then the third, last but not the least one, the societal impact. We create societal impact while when we focus on the SDGs. So our work is really translated in the managerial implication, or may offer the policymaker different kind of strategies which will be helpful. So now, what is the catch? The catch is map your broad area to at least one SDG. It should at least target one SDGs in order to become your topic as the trendy and it is aligned with the global priorities. Okay, as I just mentioned that in our presentation, we will first talk about the prerequisites. So we call it the fundamentals of topic selection. What are the different fundamentals we need to understand to select any research topic? So how to select a research topic, that is very interesting and that is very challenging for the beginning researcher particularly. Most of the time we are very confused from where should I start, what should I consider, what should I read, and all those things. A lot of questions comes to mind at this time. So this all things start with the first thing, which is called thinking. Now we are not referring the random thinking. Here we are referring to the thinking as a critical thinking. Yes, we need to develop the critical thinking skills. And what the critical thinking is, it is the process of considering or reasoning about something. When you try to understand why certain phenomena is happening, the way phenomena is happening, so that is called the critical thinking. When you see from the perspective of observation, when you see why this is happening, or how I make sense out of it, that is called thinking. While in the psychology we say the mind is the idea while thinking processes of the brain involved in processing information, such as when we form concepts, engage in problem solving, to reason and make decisions. Why? Once we are involved in a critical thinking, definitely that leads to the certain decision making, and that is based on the rationality, that is based on reasoning. So, and the most interesting part is the different stages of thinking. So it means that we need to understand what are the different stages of the thinking, because how would we know at which stage we are, and how can we elevate from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 to stage 4. So we need to improve from 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6. And how can we improve it if we are not even aware of where our thinking lies? So for that matter, there is wonderful work on it, and that is the critical thinking development, a stage theory by Linda Paul and Richard Elder. They have shown the 6 stages of critical thinking, that when you are involved in a critical thinking or thinking, you must try to understand which thinking level you are and how can you improve from one stage to another. So let's quickly discuss about this pyramid. This is the wonderful pyramid for it. It starts from the unreflective thinker and then it reaches to the accomplished thinker. Now there are the further stages in between the 4 and the 6 one, but how can we improve and what are the different things to understand it? So very quickly I will just talk about it. The first stage is the unreflective thinker. These are the thinker which are not aware about the role of thinking in their lives and their potential problem which are associated with reasoning. So these are the people who are even not aware of what the thinking plays a role in their life and how can they involve in a thinking to solve their problem. That's the problem with them. And the second is the challenge thinker. These are the thinker who become aware of the role of the thinking plays in their lives. Now, at this stage, they have the kind of realization that thinking does play a significant role in their lives. But their understanding, their reasoning is a very much superficial about the different concepts, about the different phenomena, about the different perspective. So they have just have realization about that there is something wrong with their thinking, but they are not aware how to fix it. Now here comes the third one, which is the beginner thinker. Who are the beginner thinker? They are the people who get involved actively in trying to control their quality of their thinking in several areas, how they are going to be affected by their thinking. So it means now they think in a systematic way, but they are lacking the systematic plan how to overcome this issue of thinking in an appropriate way in a systematic plan. But they have the kind of realization and they think that yes, I need to involve in an active way so that I can control the quality of my thinking. That's the beginner thinker. Then we talk about the fourth stage, which says the practice thinker. Who are the practice thinker? When they try to actively analyze their thinking across many areas of their life, but are only beginning to assess their thinking in a systematic way. What's the difference between the third and the fourth? Now they shifted from unsystematic or lack of systematic plan to the systematic way. But now when we start the systematic way, then we advance towards the advanced thinker. Now, the advanced thinker, they analyze, assess the critique of their own thinking in a significant areas of life. And, and they also have insights and understanding about the problems at deeper level of thought. These thinkers have well developed sense of their own ecocentric nature, but they strive to be fair minded. It means their thinking is not entirely the fair minded. So they strive for it to do it. And the last but not the least one is the accomplished thinker. Accomplished thinker are the thinker who already established systematic plan to assess and correct their own thinking. And along with that, they also deeply invest in fair mindedness, how they are going to regulate. They know and they recognize the pattern to control their own ecocentric nature. So it means these are the people who come up with the different illustration, different philosophy, and all the explanation for the things, because they know how to be fair minded and how to control their egocentric nature. So these were the 6 stages of the critical thinking. So it means that once we know the role of thinking in our lives, only then we can develop the intellectual skills of an effective researcher. So that is very interesting part, that now we need to develop the intellectual skills of an effective researcher. It's not the complete pie, the complete, it is the 25%. But since we want to understand what intellectual skills an effective researcher requires, so why I discuss the thinking first? Because it is the prerequisites for the intellectual skills. So now here we are referring towards the thinking as critical thinking. So it means that you must think in a critical way why certain phenomena is happening the way it is happening. So I will give the example, practical example, to understand the 4 stages. But first, let me explain all of those. So first is the critical thinking. You try to observe why this phenomena is happening. The ordinary people, they may not observe, they may not notice, but you as a researcher will observe, and will not only observe, you will try to come up with the reasoning and explanation why it is happening. So once you observe it, second stage is the you start evaluating for it. You try to see what the study X says about it, what the study B says about it, what the studies Z says about it. It means you are trying to evaluate the option 1, 2, 3, the different illustration for it. Once you do that, then you reach to the reasoning level, that how you are going to develop reasons for it, what the study X has said about it, what the study Y has said about it, what the study Z said about it. So you will come up with the 3, 4 reasoning for it. So based on that reason, you build an argument for your research study. So this is the systematic and scientific activity. Now let me give you one example. For example, we say that people are moving from right to left, and now, and you are sitting in that place and you are observing that from in the room which you are sitting, and you see through the glass that people are moving from right to left. You just observe why people are moving from right to left, why not left to right. So this is what the critical thinking, that you are trying to observe that people are moving from right to left, very few people are moving from left to right. So then you try to start evaluating for it, why this phenomena is happening. So you ask the Mr. X, why people are moving from right to left. So that person probably tell you that people are moving from right to left because it's the lunch time, and there is a cafe at that side. So people are moving from right to left because it's the lunch time, so they may take the lunch over there. So you get the one perspective that, all right, okay, people are going there because to take the lunch. Second, you ask the Mr. B, why people are moving from right to left. The Mr. B person that explains you that actually it is the prayer time, so there's a mosque at that side. So it means that people are going to offer prayers in the mosque, so that's why they're going from right to left, maybe mosque, maybe church. So now you see, you got the second perspective, which is very important. Oh, I see, it's the prayer time, people are moving from right to left to offer prayers. Okay, fine. And then you see the third person, and we call it Mr. Z. Mr. Z, would you like to explain to me why people are moving from right to left? So then the Mr. Z explains you that, oh, actually it is the break time. People are moving from right to left because there's a restroom at that side. So to take rest, and then they will come back and join again. So, oh, now the third perspective you got very easily, that people are moving from right to left because it's the break time, and now people are going to take rest in the restroom. So you see, now three evaluation you came up with that. So now, based on that, you develop reasons. Like now, you develop the reason. People move from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., from right to left, to take the lunch, to offer prayers, and to take rest. Now, based on that reason, you develop the argument, which is that people move from right to left, from between the 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., to take the lunch, to take the rest, or to take the or to pray, offer the prayers. So now this is very systematic one. What mostly goes wrong over in the beginning of the research, or particularly for the beginner researcher, that they build the argument first, then they try to search the reasons for it, and then they start evaluating, and then they critically think, which is opposite of the what the education system recommends you. So now you see that makes more sense. When you observe the phenomena first, you evaluate that one, you come up with the reasoning for that, and then you, based on that, you develop the argument. Now that is the interesting part, that your argument is not baseless, it has certain foundation. So this is how actually you build your intellectual skills of an effective researcher. But as I told you, that it is only 25% of the pie. Now what is the rest of the one? This is the rest of the one. So you see here, it is the intellectual skills are only 25%. The rest of the 25% is your personal effectiveness skills. What that contain? Your time management skill. Are you able to manage the time appropriately? Because you are a researcher, you have the certain amount of time to complete your research project, or the degree, or whatever the project you are carrying out. So it means that, are you having that kind of skills to manage your time appropriately? Second important skill is the stress management in the personal effectiveness skills. Are you able to manage the stress? Because there is stress related to the research, about collecting the data, about speaking to the people, about arranging the different things in a way that it makes sense. So how you are going to manage your stress in between all those activities, that is very much important skills. Third, the social skills you require, because for your research, you are going to collect the data, you are going to conduct the interviews, you will be doing certain things to discuss with the people. Do you have the social skills? If yes, that is the wonderful thing, because then you will be able to carry out your research work in a very appropriate manner. Then we are talking about the communication skills. Communication skills itself, how you are going to write the report effectively. That is very interesting. Sometimes we have very good communication speaking skills, but how about our writing skills? If you are designing the questionnaire, particularly the unstructured or even structured with the open-ended question, how you are going to phrase your questions, that is very important one. If you have the effective writing skills, that is going to impact a lot on your research outcomes. Similarly, the listening skills. Do you have the listening skills appropriate? Are you a good listener? If yes, that is the good thing. Now, the presentation skills itself, how you are going to present your findings to the world in conference, in other places where you are supposed to just present the findings of your research study. Are you able to present the topic in an appropriate manner? If yes, that is going to help you. And then explaining your ideas, how you are going to explain different idea into simple one. As Einstein very nicely mentioned, that the genius is the one who can just translate the complex or the ideas into a simple one. I think that's the wonderful illustration, that are you able as a person, as a researcher, that you come up with a complex concept and you make it so easy that it is very much understandable to the even ordinary people in a simple word. That's the communication skills. And then finally we talk about the organizational skills, how you are going to manage the project as a whole, how you are going to arrange the access for the data collection, And then, are you a multi-tasker? Will you be able to collect the data at the same time, to run the pilot studies, to collect the literature review, and all of the things you are refining at the same time simultaneously? If you are able to do it, definitely that is going to help you. All right, so now you see how do we connected these all slides. First, we just discussed what are the different struggles as a beginner researcher is going through. Second, we talked about the fundamentals, the prerequisites, the thinking, which kind of thinking is required. And in order to understand appropriate thinking stages, we discussed that what are the different stages in which thinking stage I am live, and how can I improve it to advance enough further. And then we discussed the intellectual skills, in which we just discussed that we need to build argument based on the systematic way, and just achieving the intellectual skills. Now we can complete the whole pie, which consists of all those four dimensions. And if we just apply all those things in an appropriate manner, then we can say you are a effective researcher, or you have the skills of an effective researcher. So this is how actually the building block for the effective researcher. Now let's come to the our topic identification. So how to identify a researchable topic? We have multiple sources, and in this, as I have just mentioned couple of them, you can google it, so many. So you can have the sources for it. You can google it through the elsewhere, springers, the Harvard Business Publishing, the Science Direct, JSTOR, and so many, Emerald One, and you can have the multiple sources for it. Now, identifying the research topic, it is just like here you can see that it typically start as a broad general idea of your field, and the topic is just small slice of the cake. And what is the good topic? Now we are trying to understand the topic in a deep way, so that we have a clarity what is the good topic and how can we avoid the bad topic, what are the characteristics for that. Okay, so good topic that defines the aim of the research, what you are trying to investigate. This is again the same thing which we just discussed earlier, which is the novelty. What kind of novelty, what kind of research gap you are looking forward for it, and how can you identify the research gap. For that, I will also discuss the different AI we can use for it. Then set boundaries and parameters for the research. What are the different parameters you are showing as the boundaries for your research work, and the limitations as well. And then it should provide the direction what you are going to investigate clearly. And that should be very clear, very concise, and it should be jargon free, so that conceptually you have the clarity what you are going to investigate. And then now we have the information pyramid. We must understand the topic from this flow. We must have the foundational concepts about that topic. That what are the foundational concept about it. Second important thing is the main themes or the issues. What are the major themes? What are the major issues in the field it related to the concept which I am going to investigate? And then the main concept, and in the detail one, what we are trying to investigate on our level, what is our contribution to that. So you see, from very broader to very specific we are moving. It is just like this, that pyramid. The foundational one will give you the basic understanding. The main issues will tell you that these are the different challenges, and the main concept is what you are going to study and how you are going to create any impact on that. So that's the information pyramid. Now, we generally refer this KUM framework. If you use this framework, it is very going to be easy for you at how you are going to contribute. So what N stands for is the unknown. What is unknown? What is known about the topic? So it means what we have already known through literature review. What is there that you have already studied? which framework existed, which framework existed in which industry, which methodology the different researchers followed, which uh, methods, the techniques, which type of research design they follow to investigate particular research question, that is known to you through literature review. The interesting part is what is unknown. What is unknown about the topic? Which research gap, which contradictions, which controversies, which things is missing? What is the unknown which you are going to try? And then here it comes the role of us, which is me. What do you want to learn from your research? It means you are trying to fill the gap. What is known through literature review, what is unknown, and how I am going to bridge between both of them. That is going to be my contribution, that is my novelty. I came up with a particular kind of explanation to it. So must use KUM chart whenever you are going to select any topic. If you selected any topic not following the KUM chart, what will happen? That you may investigate the already known topic, which you are not sure, but people have already, our previous researchers, they have already investigated it. Okay, now moving towards the topic and the title. Very nice. Again, we have the how we are going to define the topic and how can we define the working title for that purpose. So the topic could be motivation and employee turnover retention. That is general topic. What is the title? Our working title. So remember, topic, the title and the working title is one and the same. So the title could be the relationship between motivation and employee turnover retention among fifth grade students in Islamabad, for example, in California, for example. So what is the thing? The thin line difference between topic and title is that title will give you exact idea what the person is doing. Topic will just give you the broader understanding of the area of research, that what they are trying to do. For example, motivation, employee turnover retention, it is just general broad idea what you are going to study. But your working title will tell the exact that what you are trying to do, where you are going to investigate it, and all those things. So this is the wonderful illustration for what? For your understanding about the topic and title. All right. So now let's move further. What is the appropriate flow for understanding from broad topic to your research question? Mostly what happens is that we are not sure about the proper flow. So here we are discussing about the proper flow. So from broad topic, you try to narrow it down the topic. And I will discuss how we can narrow the topic from broader to narrow one. And then from narrow topic, we try to investigate one research problem. And that research problem is actually going to generate the research objectives and research questions for us. So this is the exact flow from broader topic to the research question, because ultimately what we are going to study is our research questions. We are need to answer the research question. So let's move further. How can we ask the question about our topic? So we can ask the following question. For example, what do I already know about this topic? Who was involved in it? You can brainstorm about the topic, and then you can find the ways to broaden the research topic if it requires, or if it is already narrow topic, how can you broaden it? And if it is the broad topic, how can you narrow it down to researchable topic? So now, this is the just example. What is the broad topic and too narrow? For example, too broad topic could be reality TV. Okay, very broad topic. What is reality TV? What we are trying to investigate? We are not sure about. Too narrow topic could be arguments about race in the show Big Brother in 2013. So too narrow one, only related to one event. So what is the just right topic? That could be reality TV shows and portrayal of African American women. So now you see That is the kind of just right topic selection, that how we can have the appropriate one. And then ways to broaden our research topic. What we usually do, we use from state to region, for example, or to country. We This is how we broaden it. From few years to decade or even longer, we can use that key elements for the broaden the topic. So let me explain it in more detail. So we can narrow down a topic, or we can broaden our topic based on demographics. For example, we can narrow the topic while targeting particular age for investigating the phenomenon. Let's take the previous example of motivation and employee turnover retention. So if we want to investigate that how motivation is going to reduce the employee turnover retention, but now we are narrowing down by age. So how can we do it? We do it and restrict it. For example, we just say how the people who are in the age between 20 to 35, how the motivation practices impact their turnover intention in the banking industry. So now you see, now we are controlling, and we have narrowed down the topic from age perspective, which is only 15 years. We can reduce it by decade, for example, from age 20 to 30, how motivational practices impact the employee turnover retentions. So now, based on age, we have only targeted the people who are in between the age from 20 to 30. So now, above or below age will not be counted in our study. So this is how we actually narrow it down. Sometimes we just focus it on the gender level. We just investigate only, for example, men or women for that purpose. Sometimes based on ethnicity, sometimes nationality, sometimes race, color, religion, education, time period, and the geographic factors as well. So we can narrow it down the topic. And then we can reduce it narrow it down based on the asking question. For example, comparative studies. For example, cause and effect, process, classification. So all these things. Okay, so these are the way how can we narrow down the topic. And then we can ask questions through discipline way that can also help us to narrow down the topic. For example, we are only interested from the lens of the economics, maybe through history, maybe through psychology, or maybe through sociology. So based on the discipline, we try to narrow down any topics, which is an interesting way to do it. And sometimes we become a journalist. What do we mean by journalist? By asking the right question. Who were involved in this research? What am I going to conduct or find? When I will be carrying out this research? Why I am carrying out this research? Where I can find my target population? And how am I going to get the appropriate results, the data, and all those things? So you become like a journalist who asks all those questions related to your work. All right. Then this is just the example that how you are going to narrow down the topic in a manageable, to become a manageable research. So here the topic is, for example, education. We target the geographical location, which is Upper Egypt. The class is the among Egypt's upper class. Age could be primary education. Gender could be primary education among the upper Egyptian females only. Religion could be religious education in Upper Egypt. Ethnicity is primary education for Upper Egypt's Nubian population. So this is how actually you narrow it down the topic. Now the summary is what? A good research topic is one in which you are interested. When you see and you meet the task requirement, when you are focused, you have the clarity about it, what you are trying to investigate. When you think that the topic is significant in terms of worthy enough to be investigated, and it is feasible, accessible, as well as manageable in terms of time, resources, and energy. And you have the literature available on the topic so that you can make sense out of it, so that you can make evaluation, so that you can make come up with the reasons and then build an argument. So you see how do we connected all the previous dots. In this way it is a systematic and organized activity. All right, now this is the flow from journal to specific. Here, in a very simple way, I just made it in a way that you get the clear understanding what we are talking about. So if you see, the topic is motivation and employee turnover retention. What is the problem statement? Problem is to study the impact of motivation on employee turnover retention. How can we create the research objectives out of it, or generate the research objective out of it? To investigate the impact of motivation on employee turnover retention. For that, what research question we derive? The question is, what is the impact of motivation on employee turnover retention? Now here you see all things are very much connected and aligned at the same time. If you see the main concepts, the major theme, the major issue is there in the whole flow. You can see from journal to specific. From very general broad topic, we have come to the appropriate research question which is manageable. So further, we can ask the question, what is the impact of motivation on employee turnover retention of managerial level employees working in banking sector of California? Now you see, we reduced it in a very manageable research, and we can carry out, we can collect the data, we can interpret the data, we can present the conclusion and come up with the practical or managerial implication for to impact. So actually this is how this is the appropriate flow for journal to specific research topic one. Now how we are going to evaluate very quickly, we just see whether it was effective. Can I find an answer for our research question? How about their significance? You need to establish the importance of the study, how you are going to establish the originality, whether this work has been carried out or you are going to conduct it for the first time, and then the technological, how you are going to come up with the feasibility, the competency, access to data, time, cost, and all those factors, whether you will be able to carry out the research in a proper way or not. So you need to answer all those things before you start the work on it. So problem is, a research problem is like an identification of destination before undertaking research journey. And then we say, out of that, we formulate the research objectives. So we sometimes we have the two types of objective. One is the main objective, second is the subject objective. So main objective is your main association and relationship you seek to discover or establish, and the sub-objective could be your specific aspect of the topic which you want to investigate within the framework of your studies, and that is leading towards the main objective one. All right. So, and we must start the research objectives from different words like to determine, to find out, to ascertain, to measure, to explore. These are the words which reflects that you are trying to investigate the research objective. All right, now you see here is actually the flow. Now the topic is what? Employee turnover and motivation. How did we narrow it down? Employee turnover retention phenomena in USA. Now more focused, employee turnover retention phenomena in California, USA. What would be the research question for it? What is the impact of motivation on employee turnover retention in California? So this is how we actually narrow down the topic from very general to very specific one. And now they say it is hard to formulate a good answer to bad research question. A question well asked is a question well answered. So this is what we refer to the philosophy of quality in, quality out. So it means if you have a very good question, definitely you are coming up with a good answer for that as well. So further, the research question: what is the foundation of the research process? It all begins with the question, and we call it curiosity. From where you can get it? From curiosity your own, from information gaps, the gaps in the literature, from the controversies which is available, and you can see in within the field, across the fields, how different phenomena is explained by different theoretical lens through different even discipline. So you can see the controversies, and even you can come up with the explanation of that, replication of the studies, the literature review, and other people work they have carried out. Now, the good research question are what which is answerable, and you can narrow enough to be covered sufficiently in the required number of pages, and broad enough that you can actually find information. Last but not the least, abstract enough to require analysis. And now, what is the bad research question which is considered? Is a trivia questions, which is very tricky question, not the clear one. So we must have the clarity about the research question. Second, answer with a quick yes and no. Some question is understood. That should not be drawn as the research question. Third, answerable with 5 minutes Google search. Sometimes we try to investigate certain phenomena which Google can answer within 5 to 10 minutes. So that is not again a good idea to have that kind of research topic. And then asking for opinion that cannot be supported. So one must be very reasonable in asking the research question. All right. Are these a good research question? Where did the Civil War start? No. Where did the Civil War start? Again, no. Who had the best looking uniform in the Civil War? Again, no good research question, because it's just a matter of opinion. If like the blue color, there is no evidence that can convince me that gray is more attractive. So it means it is opinion based, not a good research question. So now, how to fix the bad research question? For example, why did the Civil War start? So the good question could be, how did the Mexican-African War led to the subsequent Civil War? Now you see it's the clear understanding of the good research question. And then further, these are the examples of illustration of how can we fix the research question. So again, very quickly, the broad topic could be women health, and the narrow topic could be women and the cancer. The focus topic could be women smokers and the breast cancer. What is the relationship between them? So this is how we actually refine our broad topic to the focus topic. And research questions and objectives should be aligned in the same way. For example, to investigate the relationship between cigarette smoking and breast cancer risk. Now that's the objective. So now we have the aligned research question is that is there a relationship between cigarette smoking and breast cancer risk? So now you see it is very much aligned with the topic, very much aligned with the problem which we are going to solve. Very clear understanding of research objective and very clear understanding of the research question. So definitely our research question and objectives are aligned and they will serve each other. So this is the limiter as we just described. We can limit our topic based on geographical, culture, time frame, discipline, and population group. This is just we discussed how can we narrow down the topic, and this is another example of a broad topic to narrow it down. How we can do it from global warming, that how will climate change impact sea level on the coastal United States. This is how we can narrow down any topic. Now, how to approach your chosen topic? First, you need to understand the topic, what is it's about. You need to understand the keywords, the questions, the topic. Which question am I going to answer? Which sphere of knowledge does it cover? What variable will be considered, and all those points. That's very important, that how you're going to approach your topic. Second thing is what you need to review the related literature. How can you refine the topic and the findings in a way that makes sense? So, in that literature review, you need to identify the sources. What are the different sources? How you are going to support for that? What claims? Who supported it? Why they have supported it? And what are their explanations? So now again, if we try to connect with the dots, which I just previously described, is the same one, that now it is systematic and organized activity. We thought, we read the literature, we came up with the evaluation, we came up with the reason, and now based on that reason, we are going to develop the argument. All right. So from where to generate topic idea, we have certain activities to follow and you can get it. First, from your courses or reading materials, whatever the courses you have gone through, that can spark your curiosity. Second, the libraries. You go to library, search by discipline, search by the latest trend, search by the decade. As I have already shared the different keywords regarding how to narrow down the topic. So you can do the library search in order to find the good research question. Third is the browse through the some current journal in your subject discipline. That is very important. Sometimes you need to target the top tier journals in order to understand which phenomena is in place, what are the global priorities, what is the focused areas, and you can ask for the help from the librarian or from your supervisor or instructor who is guiding you in your research work, so that you can have the clear understanding what topic you are going to select. Sometimes in the past work gives you the curiosity, the past work gives you the, provide you the interest to carry on your work. For example, last time the class activity, the class term paper, now you want to investigate it in more detail, regardless of the academic degree. You want to investigate certain phenomena. So based on the past work, actually, you can just do it. And then through online portals, you can also do it. Different online portals are available. So you can conduct the preliminary search through online one. For example, we have just mentioned the Ghana web, the GTV, the GBC, etc. So see if your idea has been covered in the news or not. And definitely when it is aligned with the SDGs, it is going to be linked with that. The sixth is the surrounding. More commonly, look around your workshop, department, university, environment, society at large to identify the issues concerned to you. So, as we just mentioned before, you need to come up with the any research problem which you have observed critically. So you can come up with any kind of issue, and then you can start working on it. And then we have the criteria for selecting the research problem. That's very important for us. And our criteria should ensure that our study is manageable, that is motivated. And if we are not motivated and it is not manageable, we will be able to complete our study properly. So, what is the different 16 points for the selecting the good research problem? First, you need to ask yourself whether your topic carries the significance to the discipline. Is your topic original, which we discussed last time? Novelty, we are talking about novelty. Does it contain novelty? Is it feasible in terms of time, energy, and resources? Will you be able to complete your study in a proper way? Is it feasible? The fourth point, administrative support. If you are in the university or the agency is funding you, so do you have enough administrative support to collect or to carry out the research project properly? That's the important one. Then the peer support. Do you have your senior support in your topic selection or in the way the research would be carried out? That is very important for us, particularly psychological support. And the sixth one is the availability of the subjects. Will you be able to collect data from the people? Do we have the enough sample representation? That is going to help you to collect the data and interpret it and come up with the conclusion or discussion. And then the researcher's competency itself, whether the researcher is capable or not to analyze the different data information and make sense out of it. Your competency is going to impact it. The eighth one is the ethical consideration. Are you considering the ethical consideration? Different. We have the different ethical committees in university. Before even data collection through questionnaire, even we just take the permission out of that. So to address the ethical issues, and then your topic is solvable, researchable or not. Is the idea which can be solvable or not. You must evaluate it through this criteria. And then does your current study is contemporary? Is it being given much of the attention by the agencies, by the government, by the media or not? So it means, is it in the trend? The 11th is interesting. Is it interesting study? People are going to read it, or the researcher are going to read and take advantage out of it. And then, do you have the clear understanding of it? And if there is any ambiguity, you just try to remove it. Next point of view, 13th point is the whether you will be able to collect the empirical data and whether it is verifiable, the sources or not, in order to ensure the reliability. 14th is the measurement of the concept, how you are going to measure the concept. That itself is very important concept. And how about your systematic planning regarding your carrying out the research? Last but not the least, is it your topic relevant nowadays to carry out the research? Is it in line with the SDGs priorities, the global priorities? If yes, then you are going to be your topic will be selected for publication. Then you will be able to get the citation. You will be able to start collaboration. At the same time, it is very nice to see that your study is contributing to the society and its impact is very much visible in the society. So that is the criteria for it. Now we have come to the our main part, which is the how AI tools can support this process. So we have different softwares for different stages we can use, and that is the good part of it, that we always use the different software to assess us, not to become a researcher, but to assess us. So for example, for identifying research trends, we can use the Google Trends and the Dimension AI. How can it help us? It shows what topics are gaining attention globally, as we just discussed. An example is, for example, the climate smart agriculture, see increasing search interest in the Africa. Similarly, for brainstorming the topic idea, you can use the Chat GPT, Research Rabbit. And how can you get the help of it? You suggest possible research question, variable framework, and it will help you in that regard. For mapping literature and finding gaps, you can use the connected papers, semantic scholar, and it will visualize the research cluster and related works to you in a very easy way. We are going to just, I'm going to just demonstrate it for you people. And then matching with the SDGs, we use the SDG compass and we link your idea to global goals and how can we relate to it. So all these things are very important in order to understand how we are going to do it. So before going further, let me just demonstrate very quickly for you people that how can we just do it. Let me just share my screen with you people and let's see how can we do it. All right, so now here you can see as we just talk about the connected paper, if you just click on the connected paper, you reach to this window. And when you just reach to this window and you just mention the how you are going to visualize, as we have already taken the example of the motivation and employee turnover intention. So we can just ask it and they can just build for us. Now here you see, this is the visualization for your one, and the moment you're just trying to close it, you see how many studies are related to it. And here you can see even the citation, the journal name, and the primarily understanding of it. For example, you just click on anyone. Now this study, for example, related to your one, you can see here all the things are given. Here you can read the abstract and it is related to one. Even you can see the number of year in which it is has been published. You may not be interested in the 2013 study. Maybe you are interested in 2024 study. So you just click on it, you get the paper over here, you just read the background and all those things, whether it is relevant or not. So you can do it. Now, how great this idea is, for example, we just discussed here in the slides, that it will give you the map one. You can just map your study. You come up with the research gaps. You study all those things and then you see which link is missing and you can do it. That is a very wonderful and nice one. And now, again, for the SDG compass, how we are going to align our work with the SDGs, you just go to the SDG compass, and here you can just write the whatever you are going to explore. You may get it over there. So this is what, for example, here, green innovation in SMEs industry. If your work is on related to green innovation and you want to investigate in the small and medium enterprises industry, here you can see there are the different reports, and even you can just click on it, you can get the that document and you see how they have explained it in a wonderful way. So now see here, this is the sustainable development goals from promise to practice, and you can read it and you can relate your work to it, or your work is in alignment with that. If yes, then if not, how can you just map it with the other one? You can go back and you can search here and you can align with that, which is very interesting one. So go to the search and align, and it will give you the report for that. So this is how we actually try to connect our the align our work with the SDGs. And the similar is the chat one. Maybe the chat, you can use the chat one. You ask for the brainstorming for the idea and it will give you the understanding for it. So this is what actually we do in this way. So let me just stop the sharing screen, and now we can move forward to understand how we are going to go forward for this. All right, so we just discussed that how AI can support us in that one. Let me just demonstrate in the simple way again. Hands-on group activity, what we do normally on campus is from broad idea to SDGs alignment. For example, you pick a broad idea, health, business, energy, or the agriculture. You try to map it to the relevant SDGs. You use the AI brainstorming to refine the idea. You define it. You come up with the topic, research problem, research question, and objectives, as I just discussed all of those things to you people, and you can just implement it. And for example, the output could be like broad area is the agriculture, which SDGs you target was the 13, the climate action. The final topic could be adaptation of AI-based irrigation to improve resilience of smallholder farmers in arid regions. So this is how you actually do it. So what are the key takeaways? A good research topic is equal to focus plus feasible plus original and globally relevant. Now, if you connect the different dots similarly, it is what you have by focus, we mean you have the clarity of your topic. Feasible means, is it feasible to carry out the data, to carry out the investigation, you have the sufficient resources in terms of time, energy, and money, all those things. The originality is what the novelty of your work and alignment with the SDGs, the global relevancies. So SDGs alignment increase visibility and funding opportunities for your work. So if your work is related to the SDGs, that is going to be funded by the different agencies. Then the AI tool makes topic discovery faster and smarter. If you use the AI, the different keywords can help you to have your work more visibility, and that can make it smarter. So human judgment remains crucial. AI supports you decide. So it means you have the mind, you have the ability to take the decision. So take by yourself and just use the AI as a tool for yourself as the research assistant. So, summary of the key AI tools very quickly. To generate the idea and trends, use the global trend, the chat GPT, the research rabbit. For literature mapping, as I just mentioned, the connected papers, semantic scholars. Funding and SDGs matching, you just use the SDG compass. For reference management, you can use the Mendeley Zotero. And there is the catch that good research questions lead to great research. AI can help us as better question, as we just discussed it. And then we say, what are the common mistakes to avoid? Choose too broad, too narrow topics. This is what I start with my presentation with it. That what are the different challenges the beginner researcher they face. So too broad, too narrow topic, that's the challenge and that's the mistake sometimes the beginner researcher do. So be mindful of that. Then copying trend topic without checking gaps. You must refer to the literature again, see which kind of research gap is it going to fill. Is it the methodological gap? It is the unit gap? It is the concept gap? It is the knowledge gap? What kind of gap is it going to fill? So you need to be very clear about it. What theoretical gap you are going to fill? What practical gaps you are going to fill? So you need to be very careful about it. And then ignoring the SDGs relevance, whether your topic is relevant to the SDGs or not, and are you aware of it, and have you navigated in a appropriate manner through the SDGs compass to align your topic, and then over relying on AI without critical review. Or the AI is just to support you, it is just the tool. It is you as a human who is going to review it critically and process it properly, through which we just discuss the intellectual skills. When you go through intellectual skills of an effective researcher, you will critically review the topic, and with the AI, you will improve that. That's one. And then there are some contemporary topics from emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, employee engagement, on all those things. These are some other contemporary topics in the development, leadership development practices, on all those things. Hot topic could be nowadays HR and talent management, value strategic frameworks, talent management, etc. Organizational stress management. Maybe sometimes we talk about the ethics and the comparative studies between the SMEs, the CSR theories, etc. Finance related topic could be the how the strategic analysis on the importance of the credit and loans on growth and investment of the organization ones. Related to grain marketing, we have different domains, so you can just go through and you can search for it. So research trends you need to follow. You need to have the compliance of all those things. You need to follow the research trends. This is what I just discussed, the proper flow from topic to research questions. That is the complete order, once again, for your easy understanding. From motivation to employee term retention is topic. Research question is what, how you are going to investigate it. Research, that was the objective. Research question is what is the impact of it, and you derive the hypothesis that is there a negative relationship between motivation and employee turnover intentions. So these are the do's and don'ts. The do's is the free thinking, wild ideas, spontaneous creative, use brainstorming technique, which we just referred intellectual skills. So how you are going to seek help regarding the different ideas. Always look on the bright side of the life. What you are trying to avoid is avoid negative thinking. Don't panic and don't push yourself to the corner. And then we say, remember, the AI is a research assistant, not at all a researcher. So this is what the gist of it, that you use the AI tool as a research assistant, not as a researcher. You are the researcher. You have to critically review it while using your intellectual skills, and that is going to give you advantage being human. So be human and conduct by your way, and it is going to be a fantastic research. So let me just give you a recap of it. We just discussed the prerequisites for the topic selection. We discussed the thinking, the stages of the thinking, the intellectual skills of an effective researcher, and then skills of an effective researcher, which is the prerequisite. Then we talked about how can we narrow down the topic, the difference between the topic and title, how can we come up with the proper flow of the from topic to research problem, to research questions, and how can we narrow down the topic, what are the ways and means for it. And lastly, we discussed the different tools which can be very helpful for us to connect it. For visualization, we have the different software. For brainstorming, we have different software, and all those software can help you to improve your topic. And lastly, we just said, use the AI as a research assistant, not as a researcher. So thank you very much, and that's all from my side. I hope you would have enjoyed and would have learned a lot from this session. I believe that you will be doing wonderful research. From my side, best of luck, and wish you a very good luck for conducting the good research. Keep doing it, keep hard working, and it will pay back. So please take care, and from my side.